Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess, and on our Friday edition, for some consumers, health insurance costs could spike.
We are going to continue to see consumers have to make some hard choices.
And Arizona City prepares for an ICE facility.
There are still many unknowns about the potential holding facility and how it would operate.
And as the border wall goes up, beloved cottonwood trees are coming down.
They've been sort of guardians over that whole community. When people say, let's meet at the cottonwoods, everybody knows where that is.
That's ahead on this Friday, August 7th, 2026. First up today, Arizonans who buy their health insurance in the Affordable Care Act marketplace could soon see their costs go up significantly in the coming year. L.M. Boyd has that story.
Healthier people are often the first to leave coverage they cannot afford, while people with chronic conditions remain insured. That leaves insurers with a sicker and more expensive risk pool, putting upward pressure on premiums. Natasha Murphy is the health policy director at the Center for American Progress. In June, she warned of rising insurance costs.
We are going to continue to see consumers have to make some hard choices as premiums go up.
In filings made public this month, the marketplace health insurers in Arizona cited a worsened risk pool driven by the expiration of enhanced premium tax credits. The final approved rates will be announced in the fall. L.M. Boyd, AZPM News.
Union members working for CVS Pharmacy in Arizona have unanimously voted to take a step toward striking should contract negotiations fail. Some CVS pharmacists and pharmacy technicians from Arizona and 2 other states are members of the Pharmacy Guild. They're demanding what they call safe staffing levels, realistic workloads, and time to review each prescription. This week, members took and overwhelmingly passed strike sanction votes, which establish parameters in case of an actual strike and secure outside support from the International Union. CVS says it has negotiated with the Guild in good faith for more than a year, but some discussions have not started due to National Labor Relations Board proceedings. The man accused of opening fire into a crowd in downtown Tucson last month was arraigned Friday in Pima County Superior Court. 21-year-old David Leroy French is facing nearly 30 felony charges in connection with the July 19th shooting that left 9 people injured. Those charges include attempted second-degree murder and aggravated assault. French entered a plea of not guilty. His family members, along with victims from the shooting, attended the arraignment. At the time, French was on probation for an earlier felony offense of aggravated assault in 2024. The City of Surprise has launched a new web page aimed at tracking the development of a proposed ICE facility. Angela Gervasi has more.
The webpage launched by Surprise Mayor Kevin Sarter says there are still many unknowns about the potential holding facility and how it would operate, such as how many people it would hold and how it will affect demand for city police, fire, and emergency medical services. The facility would operate near several schools. It's drawn pushback from the community, including students and some city officials. Earlier this year, Attorney General Chris Mays sued the Department of Homeland Security, alleging it failed to follow federal environmental guidelines when it began planning the facility. In response, DHS has agreed to hold off on operating the holding facility until there's an environmental assessment. Angela Gervasi, AZPM News.
Governor Katie Hobbs is again asking the federal government to reimburse Arizona for border security spending. Cameron Sanchez reports the governor is asking for $900 million.
Border security is a function of the federal government, but Hobbs and 8 Arizona sheriffs say the state has paid heavily to combat drug trafficking, human smuggling, and other border-related crimes. Hobbs wants the Department of Homeland Security to pay Arizona back for the past 5 years' worth of those efforts. This isn't the first time Hobbs has asked for reimbursement. Former Republican Governor Doug Ducey also urged the Biden administration to reimburse Arizona for the cost of deploying the National Guard to the border. Neither the Trump nor Biden administrations caved to the requests. Cameron Sanchez, Phoenix.
A poll commissioned by the American Association of Retired People shows Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs holding a sizable 8-point lead over Republican Congressman Andy Biggs in the race for governor. 52% of respondents say they plan to vote for Hobbs, compared to 44% for Biggs. The poll found Hobbs holding a 54-point lead with voters between 18 and 34 years old. She also held a 23-point advantage with voters between 35 and 49. Biggs, meanwhile, holds a 9% advantage with voters over 50, buoyed by a 24% lead with men in that age group. America's Best Mexican Food Festival is returning to Tucson with live music, regional cuisine, and cultural storytelling. Thatcher Warwick Hess has more.
The festival debuted in Tucson in 2016 under the name Best 23 Miles of Mexican Food. As Tucson's culinary scene expanded, organizers rebranded in 2023. Hosted by Visit Tucson in partnership with ArtState Arizona, the festival features more than 30 Southwestern chefs showcasing regional cuisine from across Mexico. Cindy Aguilar with Visit Tucson says the new name reflects the city's broader food culture.
And instead of the Best 23 Miles, we change it to America's Best Mexican Food because it's really all over Tucson.
Proceeds from ticket sales benefit ArtState Arizona, a nonprofit that supports arts and cultural events. The festival takes place Saturday, August 8th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at the Westin La Paloma Resort and Spa. I'm Thatcher Warwick, AZPM News.
Things are looking up for the Link satellite launched by the Flagstaff company Catalyst a month ago. After reaching orbit, it unexpectedly started spinning. The team from Catalyst says it's brought the spacecraft's spin under control to about one rotation every 4 minutes. The company says flight controllers will upload new software before they begin the next phase of the mission for the robotic satellite. In a few weeks, they hope to stabilize it enough to link up with the Swift Observatory, a space telescope headed for a fiery re-entry into Earth's atmosphere if it doesn't get a boost into a higher orbit. Contractors began uprooting a historic grove of cottonwood trees last week in southern Arizona's San Rafael Valley to make way for new border wall. Angela Gervasi brings us this report from the ranching community of Lochiel.
When I drove to Lochiel this summer to see the cottonwoods, I was not prepared for how massive these trees would be. They are huge. Cottonwoods can grow up to 100 feet tall. They're also old. The Sierra Club estimates they've been around for 200 years, if not longer. Cottonwood trees generally don't grow in the desert, but here in the San Rafael Valley, they can survive, using water from the nearby Santa Cruz River.
When you live in the desert, any spot of green you gravitate toward.
Laurie Butler has been living in the valley, off and on, for about 25 years. She owns a couple of ranches here. Lochiel is tiny, not really a town or even a village. There are dirt roads. There's an old one-room schoolhouse. There used to be an international land port here, allowing people to cross between the United States and Mexico, but that closed in the 1980s. Butler says these cottonwoods are the heart of the valley. When people in Lochiel would meet for celebrations, birthdays, community cleanups, they would gather under these trees.
They've been sort of guardians over that whole community. When people say, let's go meet at the cottonwoods, everybody knows where that is.
Ruben Peralta lives a few miles south of Lochiel in the Mexican city of Santa Cruz. I met him in June, and when I asked him about the trees, he got excited. He says they provide shade, and they're beautiful. Peralta is 74 years old. The trees have been standing his whole life. How can they knock them down, he says. There is already a border fence in Lochiel, but now contractors are tearing it down to build 2 new walls 30 feet high. And that would mean the demolition of the cottonwoods. Conservation groups pushed back against this plan. They say tearing the cottonwoods down in the summer would harm actively nesting bird species. The Sierra Club's Eric Meza says he met with the Department of Homeland Security and the project manager to see whether the cottonwoods could be preserved. But Meza says officials told him it wasn't possible because DHS is planning 2 walls instead of 1. I reached out to DHS for comment. The spokesperson confirmed the construction was underway, but didn't provide any additional details. I also reached out to the contractors, Fisher Sand and Gravel. They have not responded. This summer, as contractors began working in Lochiel, conservation advocates showed up too. They started camping near the cottonwoods to monitor the border wall construction. Kate Scott is one of them.
Each tree is its own universe. There are over 100 species in this right now. Ants, lizards, birds. In cutting each one down, you're kind of destroying a whole ecosystem within that.
As we spoke, contractors were working along the border, tearing the old fence down to make way for the new ones. But that day, in late June, contractors did not approach the cottonwoods. The trees stood for a few more weeks. Then that changed. In late July, contractors uprooted 3 of the 4 cottonwoods. Videos of the demolition began circulating, and there was backlash. The Sierra Club says DHS failed to deliver on its promises to avoid actively nesting birds. DHS is denying that. DHS also told me in a statement the agency seeks input from private landowners on projects like this. But Laurie Butler, the Lochiel resident, told me she didn't get any notice about the cottonwoods demolition. She said she was sickened by it.
It's not really about the trees. It is, but, that's a way of life that's going away.
After contractors demolished the first 3 cottonwoods, activists climbed into the last one to prevent it from being torn down. This sit-in has been going on for well over a week, and for now, the last tree is still standing. I'm Angela Gervasi, AZPM News.
And that should catch you up on everything we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess. Join us back here after the weekend.